Depression can feel like a heavy fog that never lifts, stealing your energy, joy, and will to move forward. In these dark moments, it's easy to feel lost, alone, and disconnected from life. But through the wisdom of Buddhist teachings, there is a gentle path back, one rooted in compassion, presence, and balance. In this video, we'll explore 6 powerful Buddhist insights to help you find light in the darkness and begin your healing from depression, step by mindful step. Number 1. Everything is impermanent. When you're in the depths of depression, it feels like it will last forever. The sadness becomes your identity, and the thought of feeling joy again seems impossible. Every day blurs into the next, and hope feels like a distant memory. Buddhism teaches the principle of anicca, impermanence. Nothing in this life stays the same, including your emotional state. Just as the seasons change, so too do our inner experiences. Buddha said, "Whatever is subject to origination is subject to cessation." In other words, all things that arise, joy, sorrow, anxiety, will eventually fade. There's a well-known Buddhist story of a king who asked his wise men to create a ring that would make him happy when he was sad. They engraved it with the words, "This too shall pass." It worked. But later, in times of celebration, he looked at the ring and felt humble again, because joy too is fleeting. This simple truth is powerful during depression. Your pain is real, but it is not eternal. Just as no storm can last forever, no emotional state can either. Knowing this can give you the strength to endure. Even if you don't feel better tomorrow, a shift is always possible. Every breath you take is proof that change is happening right now within you. Let this truth be your quiet companion. This too shall pass. 2. Observe without judgment. Depression often comes with a flood of negative thoughts. I'm not good enough. I'll always feel this way. Or, something is wrong with me. These thoughts become a loop, and we start to believe them. We judge ourselves for feeling down, which adds shame on top of pain. The more we resist or criticize what we feel, the more we suffer. Buddhism teaches the power of sati, mindfulness, the ability to observe our inner world without clinging to it or pushing it away. Rather than fighting our thoughts or judging our emotions, we simply notice them, like clouds passing through the sky. The Buddha said, "Just as a solid rock is not shaken by the storm, even so the wise are not moved by praise or blame." Mindfulness gives us this inner stillness. It allows us to watch our thoughts without being swept away by them. Imagine sitting on the bank of a river. The water flows past, carrying leaves and sticks. Your thoughts and emotions are like those leaves passing by. Most people, when depressed, jump into the river and try to control the flow. They fight the current, grab onto painful thoughts, or try to block them. But mindfulness is different. It teaches you to sit on the bank and just watch. You don't need to chase or fix the thoughts. You only need to notice. Ah, here is sadness. Here is fear. Here is doubt. There's a Zen story of a student who complained to his teacher, "I am constantly disturbed by my thoughts. How do I get rid of them?" The master replied, "You don't. You simply stop believing they are you." That's the gift of mindfulness. You realize, I am not my thoughts. I am the awareness that sees them. And with that awareness, a little more peace begins to enter. Not all at once, but moment by moment, breath by breath. Mindfulness doesn't demand that you fix yourself. It only asks you to be present, to hold your experience with kindness and curiosity. And that's where healing begins. 3. You are not alone. One of the most painful parts of depression is the feeling of isolation. You may believe no one understands what you're going through, or worse, that your suffering is a burden to others. This loneliness can deepen the sadness, making you retreat even further. You start to feel like you're the only one in the world carrying this kind of pain. Buddhism teaches interbeing, the truth that we are all deeply connected. No one exists in isolation. What you feel, others feel too. Depression is not a sign of weakness or failure. It is part of the shared human experience. The Buddha said, just as a mother would protect her only child with her life, even so, cultivate a boundless love toward all beings. This includes yourself. When you recognize that suffering is universal, you can begin to meet your pain with compassion, rather than shame. There's a beautiful Buddhist practice called just like me. When you're overwhelmed by sadness, you silently reflect, just like me, others have felt hopeless. Just like me, others have cried in silence. Just like me, others are trying their best to heal. This softens the sense of being alone and opens the heart. A well-known story tells of a woman named Kisa Gotami, who lost her only child and was consumed by grief. She went to the Buddha, begging him to bring her son back. The Buddha told her to bring a mustard seed from any household that had not experienced death. She searched all over, but every home had known loss. In realizing this, her heart opened. Her grief transformed into compassion, not just for herself, but for all who suffer. This is the gift of interbeing. When we realize we are not alone, healing begins. Every person you pass has known sorrow. Every heart has cracks. And through those cracks, the light of compassion enters. You are not broken. You are human. And you are never truly alone. Compassion, both from others and from yourself, is the bridge back to connection. And from connection, healing grows. 4. The middle way. Depression often pulls us into extremes. On some days, you might feel numb and unable to get out of bed. On others, you might try to force yourself into unrealistic positivity, pretending you're fine when you're not. These emotional extremes can exhaust you even more, creating a cycle of guilt and burnout. Either we push ourselves too hard, or we give up entirely. Buddhism teaches the middle way, a path of balance between indulgence and self-denial. The Buddha discovered this after years of extreme fasting, and self-punishment brought him no closer to peace. True healing lies not in extremes, but in gentle, consistent effort rooted in compassion. The Buddha said, "There is a middle way, O monks, avoiding these two extremes, which leads to peace, to insight, to enlightenment." There's a famous story from the Buddha's life. Before his enlightenment, he practiced severe asceticism, eating so little that he nearly died. One day, he heard a musician tuning a stringed instrument. If the string was too tight, it snapped. If too loose, it made no sound. But when tuned just right, it produced beautiful music. In that moment, the Buddha realized that life and practice are the same. Too much pressure or too much slack. Both lead to suffering. Applying the middle way to depression means allowing yourself rest without falling into avoidance. It means taking small steps, like getting fresh air, drinking water, or speaking kindly to yourself, without expecting instant transformation. You don't need to climb the whole mountain today. Just take one mindful step. Even showing up for yourself in small ways, making your bed, writing a single sentence, or simply breathing with awareness, is enough. That's the power of the middle way. It honors your pace and meets you where you are. Healing doesn't come from extremes. It comes from balance, from walking the gentle path between pushing and giving up. One steady breath, one kind thought, one peaceful moment at a time. 5. Suffering can be a teacher. When you're trapped in depression, suffering feels pointless. You might ask, why me? Or, what's the purpose of this pain? It can seem like nothing good can come from what you're going through. This belief often leads to hopelessness and makes the struggle feel even heavier. Buddhism begins with the first noble truth. dukkha, the truth of suffering. But it doesn't stop there. The deeper teaching is that suffering, when understood, can be a path to awakening. Pain isn't punishment, it's a messenger. When met with awareness, suffering becomes the doorway to wisdom, growth, and compassion. The Buddha said, "Pain is certain. Suffering is optional." This means we can't always avoid life's challenges, but we can choose how we respond to them. There's a Buddhist parable about a person being struck by an arrow. The pain of the arrow is unavoidable. That's life's hardships. But what causes more suffering is the second arrow, the one we shoot ourselves with: blame, judgment, resistance. Depression is often the second arrow. The first arrow might be loss, trauma, or disappointment. The second is the belief that we are broken because of it. But what if the pain is here to teach us something? Think of how coal transforms under pressure to become a diamond. In the same way, the pressure of suffering, if met with mindfulness, can shape us into something stronger and more compassionate. Many people who have experienced deep depression later say it taught them to slow down, to listen to their true needs, and to live more authentically. The path of awakening begins not by escaping suffering, but by turning toward it with curiosity and care. Ask yourself gently, what is this pain trying to show me? Sometimes your darkest moments are the ones that teach you how to truly see. And from that place, your healing is no longer just recovery. It becomes a transformation. 6. Let go of the illusion of control. When you're in a depressive state, there's often a desperate need to fix everything, to control your feelings, your future, and the outcome of your healing. You may think, why can't I snap out of this? Or, if I could just control my mind, I wouldn't feel this way. But this constant resistance only adds more suffering. The more we try to force things, the heavier everything becomes. Buddhism teaches the art of letting go, not giving up, but surrendering the need to control what cannot be controlled. Peace comes not from forcing life to fit your expectations, but from flowing with it. The Buddha said, attachment is the root of suffering. Clinging to how things should be, your mood, your healing pace, or your life's path, creates tension. But releasing that grip brings space for peace to enter. Imagine holding a rope tightly, one that's being pulled from the other end. The tighter you grip, the more it burns your hands. The pain doesn't stop until you let go. Depression can be that rope, our attachment to how we want to feel, to the life we think we should have, can create even more suffering than the depression itself. There's a Zen proverb, let go or be dragged. When you surrender the need to have all the answers, you begin to move with life rather than against it. A monk once said to his students, when you fall into a river, don't fight the current. Let it carry you. Trust that it knows where to go. The same applies to healing. Depression is not a sign that you've lost your way. It may be life's current trying to bring you somewhere deeper, more true. Letting go doesn't mean doing nothing. It means softening your grip, releasing perfection, and trusting that, even now, something inside you is unfolding. Healing isn't about control. It's about trust. And trust begins when you learn to gently say, it's okay not to have it all figured out. I will meet myself where I am. Conclusion. Depression can feel like a deep, endless night. But even in the darkest moments, the teachings of the Buddha offer a gentle light. Through the wisdom of impermanence, mindfulness, compassion, balance, insight, and surrender, we're reminded that healing is not a sudden leap, but a gradual return to wholeness. We learned that everything is impermanent. No emotion lasts forever. Mindfulness teaches us to observe without judgment. Compassion reminds us we are never alone in our pain. The middle way encourages balance over extremes. Suffering, when understood, becomes a teacher rather than an enemy. And most importantly, letting go allows us to find peace beyond control. Buddhism doesn't offer quick fixes. It offers a path of presence, softness, and deep inner strength. Depression doesn't mean you're broken. It means your heart is calling for deeper understanding. Wherever you are right now, take a breath. That breath is a beginning. Healing isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. As the Buddha said, with mindfulness, strive on. One step, one breath, one moment at a time. You are already on your way.